Well, hello folks, we're back with our ATS career mode save. We're back taking Halloween treats out of Colorado. This time we're heading out of the farm we dropped things off in Colorado. It's Sterling, and we are going to go into Nebraska to North Platte, I think was what it's called. North Platte, yes. Short drive. So in the last ETS2 episode we talked about the future of ETS2. I want to take the opportunity to talk about the future of ATS because there's been another exciting development in a bit of information released from SCS, which suggests a different route they're kind of going in, which is rather cool. So let's dive into the truck. It is it is kind of late. That's fine. We can do late, but we are going to have a bit of a sleep. It's midnight, and I know we are. Yeah, we want to go. I know we've got a Halloween. We need to do something about this as well. But I know we've got sort of Halloween-based nonsense going on at the minute, but we do need to have a sleep. I do like this area, it's rather cool. So this isn't picking up any, we're not working for towards any achievements at the minute for this. This is just having a nice little drive and seeing where we go with this. And we just keep going. And we'll take a right here, and somewhere not too far away we'll find somewhere to sleep just on the right there, and then we'll wake up and it will be beautiful weather. And once that happens, we're going to have a little start to talk about this future of ATS. We've got just over 150 miles, about 2 hours in game, so exactly what we did last time. We'll probably end up talking for the whole episode. Hope that's all right, folks. But I think it is an interesting topic that I am fascinated to kind of explore and sort of understand what their kind of plans are. Right, are we going in here? We're going in here. Wow, this is a proper just a nothingy sort of place. Let's have a sleep. See you in the morning. Right, here we are, folks. We're coming on out. So let's think about the future of ATS. So as we did in the ETS2 video, I think it's important to just talk about what is coming up, what we know about already, and then we can sort of explore what that means for the future, that type of stuff. I mean, I think ATS is more straightforward to kind of predict, or at least I thought it was until the latest thing was released from SCS, or the latest kind of the next DLC that will be released has been mentioned, and it didn't go in the route. Didn't go down the route I was expecting them to go down at all. So we know that coming up, and we've heard about this already, South Dakota, Louisiana, and Illinois. We already knew about that. Those were states that they were going to be working on, and it made sense considering where they were on the map. It's good to see South Dakota getting in there. It felt like that area of the map has been kind of forgotten about a little bit, so those sort of northern central states, whereas they seem to be focusing on those middle states a little bit more, but looks like that's maybe not the case anymore. So I think it would be exciting. I think the likes of South Dakota will be it's going to be open, barren, those sort of things, but rather cool driving, I suspect. So that, I think, is something I can get my head around. And then what then they're going to do there is they're just going to work through the states, aren't they? West to east, or at least in some sort of order. I think once they get all the way to the east, I guess it becomes a little bit more complex how they're going to release the states, because some of those states are very, very small. The likes of Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Delaware, they're all pretty small states. So does it make sense for them to try and release DLCs that are absolutely tiny? I suspect not. I suspect those will be grouped or a bunch of those will be grouped together just to make it make a little bit more sense. But that's all very sensible. We're kind of not surprised about that at all. I think what really surprised me was what they've mentioned, that then the next, or the fourth one on the list, that we now know about, and that was British Columbia. Did not see that one coming. So British Columbia is not in the United States of America. It is in fact the western state in Canada. It's probably the one that most people end up going to, because that's where Vancouver is, and that seems to be a very, very popular destination for people in Canada. I've only been on the other side of Canada, to like Ottawa, Toronto, etc. Not been to Vancouver, but it's a very, very pretty place. And initial images, which you can have a look on Steam, look utterly gorgeous. So I think it's going to be very, very exciting. But what that does tell us is Canada will be done, and as a result of that, there are some epic parts of Canada. I mean, there are some wild, crazy parts to Canada. You sort of think about the Northern Territories, Nunavut, those sort of northern areas, which are, it's kind of ice road truckers territory. Could be really cool, I think, there. And then if you go all the way to the west, to the Maritimes and that sort of area, like sort of Halifax, I think there'll be some really cool driving down there. With Wales off the coast and all sorts of crazy stuff. I think that's going to be epic. So there is a heck of a lot they can do there, which makes me think, there's so much. And if they're going to be doing Canada, then you've got to think, well, that allows them to get into Alaska, which is going to be great. And I think anyone who saw Zilla's little playthrough with the Alaska Pro Mods edition, that was amazing. It was so cool, that driving. So I think I'm really, really excited to see that, and I'm sure that's probably going to come quicker, sooner rather than later. But I suspect Vancouver is not just a gateway to Alaska. I suspect Vancouver is actually a gateway to the whole of Canada, which, I think that might be something to see there. But no, it's just a sleeping spot. So potentially we could drive all the way across Canada, which would be amazing. So if they're doing Canada, then what is next? What is next? Will they go south to Mexico? Perhaps. That would be an amazing thing, and that's not something they could do in one bit. They'd have to do that in parts. I can't remember what is it. Is it states in Mexico? How's Mexico divided? The sort of large regions that divide Mexico. I can't remember what they are, but those sort of things they could definitely do, and that would be amazing driving down there. It'd just be a completely different type of experience. Right, I think we're coming into Norman Cook, McCook. Oh dear. So we'll take a left at the bottom here in McCook. We've discovered it. So we have picked up. It's 4 out of 10 in the Cornhusker State, which is very good. So still a long way to go. I'm not entirely sure whether we'll focus in on doing Nebraska for a little bit. I did want to do this sort of 4-corner achievement, but I couldn't get a drive going down there with the Halloween event, which we're not finishing. I can guarantee you that now. But yeah, so I think there's a lot of really exciting aspects to all of this, and it feels like there's a lot more, because I was kind of racking my brains with Europe. Where do we go? And it almost feels like you've got to be a bit more sneaky with that. So you might not actually stick in Europe. But when we talk about American Truck Simulator, are we talking about North America, the whole continent? Are we talking about North America, the Americas, the whole like North and South America? How far south can you go with that? That's the thing. Imagine driving around the Amazon, or trucking around the Amazon rainforest. That would be just epic. But I mean, that would be a long drive south, but imagine some of the other things you could do. So I think, yeah, there's lots and lots of potential map locations that we could do, and there's also room for more reworks. Obviously in ETS 2 it's been out longer, there's been a lot more attempts to rework the old content. We've not seen that quite as much in ATS. Certainly California, sort of the western shoreline has been reworked, but not the whole of California, and certainly some of those other states that were in the base game do look a little bit tired and could do with a little bit of a pretty up. So I think that's another part which we would like to see more. Hawaii as well. Not even thought about that, but could they have that as a DLC? Is that big enough to do that? I mean, there's a bunch of islands out there. Not all of them you can do much driving on, but it's rather nice. And then some of the other things that they're bringing into the game, we've heard about the road trip, the Project Road Trip, which I think looks really cool. But then, I sort of said this on the other video, with the project coaches in ETS 2, how cool would that be to bring over here? Because, I mean, one of the real epic things that we hear about, or you've seen when you ever you watch US TV, is people going on those Greyhound buses and like travelling like miles and miles across different states. If you dare come out, I will take you out. Imagine doing that. How cool would that be? And it sort of made me wonder whether these kind of two things that they're doing, the Project Road Trip and Project Coaches, I think if I've got the names right, are they doing that as a test to see whether it works, and then sort of with the idea that they're going to then take it across to the other? Because it feels there's no reason to exclude one of the games from having that type of stuff in it. I wouldn't understand why you would do that, because I feel it really makes a big but it's something that would be quite fun, I think. And certainly I would love to drive I'd love to drive a Greyhound bus across multiple states. I think that would be so cool, picking up people, dropping people off. I think that would be an amazing game on its own. I've not actually heard of that as a game. I'm sure it must have been done, right? And on the previous video, the ETS2 video, Megatron Decepticon said, why not go a step further? What about rail transport? Could that be included in the game as well? I mean, it would mean a huge amount of change. What do people feel about that? Could it actually evolve not just from trucking, but to like all forms of transport? Could they do that? Or is that just asking for way too much? I don't know. I feel it might be asking for a bit much, but I'm excited by the potential of it. Okay, this is an absolutely massive location. How are we going to do this? So we've got to take a right here. I'm going to reverse on in there. Okay, so that's where we're going. And what we'll do is we'll just do a little bit of a turny roundy, as I like to call it. And round here. And then we can pop up here. And then we should just be able to just reverse back in. Right, here we go. Kicking the dust up, and that's a nice little feature, isn't it? Just the dust flying up, which you would get in this sort of location. It'd be dusty as heck, dusty as Springfield, dusty as roads. Right, there we go. Just need to make sure we get this right. This is better. Go on. That's perfection itself, isn't it? There we go. In we pop. And there we go. So let me know your thoughts on the future of ATS. Have you got a weird and wacky places that should be included? How do you think those eastern states will be sort of packaged together? And what do you think about Canada as a new location? Are you excited about that? Let me know down in the comments all your thoughts on that. How far do we go south in the Americas that you think is okay? Is that into Mexico? Is it past Mexico? Let me know. Anyway, folks, as always, had a lovely time driving around the States. We've reached our destination. We've got yet another one of the Halloween drives completed. I suspect we'll get one more of these done before the end, and that will be not too bad. We'll have done 6 out of 15 drives, but we've already done this once. Whether I do it off camera, I'm not sure, but we'll do another one in ETS 2, I think, before things end on the 14th. Anyway, folks, yeah, leave your comments down below. As always, really appreciate your support on these videos. If you have enjoyed this, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.